The rain came down in sheets that morning, drumming on the tin roof of the small apartment Elena shared with her younger sister, Marisol. She had been up since dawn, listening to the storm, sipping weak coffee, and trying not to worry about the pile of unpaid bills on the table. Marisol stumbled out of her room, pale, clutching her stomach. "Elena, I can't go in today," she whispered. Elena frowned. "Your shift at the Montclair estate?" Marisol nodded. "I can't, the fever is too high. But if I don't show up, Mrs. Jenkins will fire me." Elena looked at her sister, saw the beads of sweat on her forehead, and made a decision before Marisol could protest. "I'll go. Just tell me what I need to do." A world of luxury. Hours later, Elena smoothed down the crisp blue maid's uniform Marisol had lent her. She had always worked odd jobs, waitressing, babysitting, cleaning small offices, but never anything like this. The Montclair estate was massive, more palace than home. Its marble floors gleamed, chandeliers glittered overhead, and everything smelled faintly of roses. The housekeeper, Mrs. Jenkins, eyed her sharply but didn't ask questions. "You know your duties. The West Wing, tidy the study, refresh linens, dust the shelves." "No mistakes." Elena nodded quickly, clutching her cleaning supplies, her heart pounding. She was halfway through dusting the floor-to-ceiling bookshelves when a small voice startled her. "Are you my new nanny?" She turned. A little boy, no older than 5, stood in the doorway. He had wide blue eyes and clutched a gray stuffed elephant to his chest. Elena knelt down, smiling softly. "No, sweetheart, I'm just helping out today." The boy tilted his head. "Most people don't smile at me. They just clean and go." Her heart squeezed. "Well, I like smiling. What's your name?" "Lucas," he whispered. "Elena," she replied, holding out her hand. He placed his tiny fingers in hers without hesitation. "The CEO enters." "Lucas." The voice was deep, commanding, echoing through the study. Elena looked up to see a tall man in a tailored suit striding in. His hair was dark, his jaw sharp, his expression tense. "Daddy." Lucas ran to him, elephant in hand. The man, obviously Lucas's father, scooped him up, though his face remained serious. He glanced at Elena, his eyes narrowing slightly. "You're new. Who are you?" Elena's throat went dry. I'm covering for my sister. She works here, but she's sick today. I didn't want her to lose her job." For a moment, his piercing gaze held hers. Then, unexpectedly, the corners of his mouth softened. "I see. I'm Adrian Montclair." Elena blinked. The Montclair, CEO of Montclair Enterprises, one of the most powerful companies in the city. She had seen his face in magazines before but never imagined standing in front of him. "Nice to meet you, sir," she murmured. Adrian gave a curt nod, but Lucas wriggled in his arms. "Daddy, Elena plays with me. Can she stay?" Elena flushed. "I wasn't," but Adrian's raised eyebrow silenced her. After a pause, he said, "Just for today. Lucas needs company." A gentle bond. That afternoon, Elena found herself sitting on the carpet, helping Lucas build towers from colorful blocks. She laughed when they tumbled, cheered when he stacked them higher, and listened intently as he told her stories about his stuffed elephant. Adrian lingered at the doorway, watching. Something inside him twisted at the sound of Lucas's giggle. It had been months since his son had laughed like that, months since his late wife's passing had cast a shadow over their home. Later, as Elena tidied up, Adrian approached her. "You're good with him." Elena glanced at him. "He's a wonderful boy, he just needs someone to listen." Adrian looked away, jaw tightening. "I try, but running a company doesn't leave much time." Elena's voice softened. "Sometimes, it's not about time. Just presence." Their eyes met, and for the first time, Adrian felt something shift, a glimmer of warmth in the cold walls of his heart. The invitation. When her shift ended, Elena gathered her things. She expected never to return. But as she walked toward the gate, Adrian's voice called after her. "Elena." She turned. "Would you consider coming back? Not as a maid, as Lucas's nanny." Her breath caught. I don't know if I'm qualified." "You are," Adrian interrupted, his gaze steady. "I've interviewed countless professionals. None of them made him laugh the way you did." Elena hesitated. She needed money desperately, but more than that, she saw the loneliness in both father and son. Against her better judgment, she nodded. "Yes, I'll come." Healing old wounds. Days turned into weeks. Elena became a constant presence in Lucas's life. She read him bedtime stories, taught him how to bake cookies, and sat beside him when nightmares woke him in the middle of the night. Adrian watched from the sidelines, torn between admiration and fear. He admired Elena's kindness, her patience, the way she brought light into their home. But he feared how much he needed that light. One evening, after Lucas had fallen asleep clutching his elephant, Adrian found Elena in the kitchen washing dishes. "You've changed this house," he said quietly. She turned, surprised. "I've just been helping." "No, you've given Lucas back his laughter. And you've given me," his voice faltered, "hope." Elena's heart raced. She saw vulnerability in his eyes, a crack in the armor of the powerful CEO. Without thinking, she placed a hand on his arm. "I'm glad," she whispered. The storm, but not everyone approved. Mrs. Jenkins, the housekeeper, disapproved of Elena's growing closeness with Adrian and Lucas. Rumors began swirling among the staff. One evening, Adrian returned home late to find Elena sitting with Lucas by the fire. The boy had fallen asleep on her lap. "You're more than a nanny now," Adrian said softly, his eyes lingering on her face. Elena's cheeks flushed. "Adrian, I don't want to overstep." But he stepped closer, his voice low. "You could never overstep." For the first time, he let himself feel what he had been denying, the pull toward the woman who had entered his home by chance and healed his family with her heart. Love finds a way. Weeks later, Elena came down with a fever herself. Adrian insisted she stay in the guest room so he and Lucas could care for her. Lucas brought her soup. Adrian sat by her bedside reading reports but refusing to leave her alone. "Why are you doing this?" she whispered one night. "Because you matter," Adrian said simply. To Lucas. To me. Tears filled her eyes. She had spent so long feeling invisible, scraping by for survival. And now, this man, the one she thought untouchable, was looking at her as if she were the most important person in his world. A new beginning. By spring, the Montclair estate felt different. The halls no longer echoed with silence. They rang with laughter, bedtime stories, and the smell of cookies baking in the oven. One sunny afternoon, Lucas tugged on his father's sleeve. "Daddy, are you going to marry Elena?" Adrian froze, then glanced at Elena, who stood blushing furiously nearby. Slowly, a smile spread across his face. "Maybe we should ask her," he said. Lucas turned to Elena with wide eyes. "Will you be my mommy?" Elena's heart melted. She knelt, hugging him tightly, her eyes meeting Adrian's over his shoulder. "Yes," she whispered. "I will." Adrian stepped forward, wrapping them both in his arms. For the first time since tragedy had struck his family, he felt whole again. And Elena, who had only meant to cover her sister's shift, had found not just a job, but a home, a family, and a love she never dared dream of.